What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Mate with Hans. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Hans Waisfeld. I'm a real estate agent here in Miami with Keller Williams. And today's guest is one of Miami Association of Realtors, top 20 producer under the age of 40. He has his own brokerage. He just started a few years ago. And he's also has a bachelor's in science in real estate business. So today's realtor is not just a broker and realtor. He also has the education behind him. So Gabriel Amedee, thank you so much for joining us. I know you're super busy and you take your time today to be here with us. So thank you so much, man.
No, thank you so much, Hans. I really appreciate the opportunity to to finally just be able to continue doing what I love doing the most, and just talking about all the information that's out there for free for agents and anyone to just grow in anything they want to do. It's awesome for me. I love this. I appreciate your mission.
Awesome, man. I love that about you. I know you. I've seen a few of your podcasts, and I know you love to share your wisdom and your knowledge. So I'm really excited for today, man. And let's actually get started with that. That was a curious question that I had in my mind was so there's 55,000 real estate agents in the Miami Association, but how many of them actually has gone to university, to school, to actually study real estate? So tell us a little bit about that. How did you go about actually getting a degree in real estate, and what has it done for you in your business and career?
Man, I mean, that's one thing I'm super thankful for. I know that college is a tough topic these days, and it just keeps getting harder and harder as the years go by. But I always saw college strictly for education and education, connections. I knew even before I entered college, there was so much information out there about surrounding yourself with people, and that's eventually who you'll become. And before college, I honestly did not have anyone in the business field that I felt like was my top 5 people. I had a best friend of mine. We would start businesses, multiple businesses failed, and I just wanted to get myself out there with and surround myself with like-minded individuals, because I didn't have that before. So I went out to pursue that. Originally, I looked into civil engineering and construction management.
Okay.
I wanted to be like a developer.
Right.
But I started seeing like the knowledge was great. I loved everything about it, but it was a lot tougher than I expected. I'm not like the most scholarly, so I ended up finding out about the real estate degree, and I was like, God, it's still something that I want to do at the end of the day. So I looked into the program. I took a few classes, and I just fell in love because it was information that, like, really dense information that was spoon-fed to you. It wasn't, like a lot of the sales stuff that's on YouTube right now. Like, this was like textbook information. And at the time I was, I still am. I'm a textbook junkie. Like, I love, watching a YouTube video and getting peer-to-peer information. But if I can read something that's like a study or something that's been tested and experimented on several times and it's been proven as concrete, I am game. Like, that's where I want to be, because I don't want to make mistakes, So here I am I started seeing individuals that had doctoral research degrees in real estate. And it was like, these are doctors that have done all of these studies and information. And I can, right now at 22, 23, just sit back and listen to all the studies they've done in the past 15 years. FIU, the school I went to, it's the number 1 school in the country for real estate research. Wow. And it's number 2 in the world.
Wow. That's impressive. Wow, man.
So they really don't play when it comes to research. And for me, that's what kind of like sold me. I was like, this is home. And I've always thought about going back and getting the master's degree because I crave for more information.
That is awesome, man. That is wonderful. Actually, I considered going to school and getting a bachelor's in real estate as well, because I was like, all right, there's 55,000 agents, there's 2 million in the whole country. How can I be right up bat on top of half of them or more than half? And I knew that going to university for real estate would definitely increase your odds. And and help you out in the long run, right? Or even to start out with. So tell me a little bit of things that, you know, other than a lot of stats and proven research and all that, but what are some things that maybe you could share with us that you learned, you know, getting your real estate degree that you know that most people do not know about, or like just what are some things that you can tell us about that?
Man, whew, that to me, the real estate degree, I think the one of the top things it gave me was, you know, the safety to fail and like fail miserably, because there was no income involved, there was no expense to my failures. I can, you know, make objectives and goals. While I was in the real estate program, I actually joined the Real Estate Student Association,
Okay.
and I became the vice president there, and that allowed me to take on objectives, and people trusted me with work because, one, I was doing it for free, you know, so of course they're going to give the
Right.
kids some work. And number two, you know, I get to gain the experience on things that I would not have been able to. So here I am at, you know, 22, 23 years old, and we need to get sponsorships for our events. And I have to call it giant companies like CBRE, JLL, Integra, Moss Construction. Like, these are calls that were with me at the time. These are like big people. It's a cold call. It's the coldest call ever. Here I am, young kid. Hey, can you come and give me some time? You know, and I just went through those calls, and people gave me the time of day eventually after the numbers, and it showed me before I ever had to get in the field that it's all about building rapport and trust.
Right.
And at the end of the day, not everyone is going to give you the sale. I see a lot of people, and I love sales in general. So I see a lot of people on social media.
Hmm.
Sometimes they feel like entitled that if they have a product, people are going to buy it. And
Right.
FIU really showed me that if you don't provide value, no one cares. You know, like, I had to call these big companies, and I had to like convince them that it was worth their time to give us $1,000 so I can buy food and make an event. And, you know, it was worth their time to stay on the phone with me. It was worth their time to come and visit and share their information. Like,
Wow.
I would have to sell to these really big companies value. And so I learned really early that value is what moves people. I don't know if you've heard of the book "To Sell Is Human" from Daniel Pink.
No, I have not.
It's it's actually a book I picked up while I was in school as well. I was part of the sales society, so if I, you know, just college in general, that doesn't have to do with my real estate degree, but college
Mm-hmm.
gave me the opportunity to have more opportunities. You know, if I didn't go to college, I wouldn't have been in the sales team of FIU. I wouldn't have been in the real estate association. So the sales team with that book, it really showed me that, you know, value is everything, and I learned that. And I got the opportunity to learn that with people that wanted a lot of value. You know, like, they expected a lot of value because their time
Right.
meant a
Right.
lot. It was expensive. It's not a buyer that, you know, just picks up the phone and they're like, "Yeah, let's go. Take me wherever you want." Like, it was like, I got to really sell you the value by
Wow.
taking 2 hours
Right.
out of your day when you probably make $500,000 a year and come and share free value to these students. So
That is a great learning experience. Wow, man.
it was
Definitely,
huge.
definitely. So exactly. So you knew right off the bat from that phone call, you had to provide as much value and build that rapport and trust as much as you can to try to get these huge companies for them to listen to you, right? So
Yeah, to
I'm
listen.
right. So I'm guessing that has probably played a big role in your real estate career. Once you started, you probably already knew right away, hey, I need to call people, I need to build a rapport, I need to make numbers, and I need to provide value. Just give, 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 right?
Yeah, it's probably the single, yeah, it's the single most important thing I've learned there, because that transforms into other skills. When you understand that value is the main one,
Hmm.
then you start picking up, you know, why am I not hearing the value? Maybe I need to become a better listener. You know, why is the client not understanding my value? Maybe I need to become a better communicator. So
Wow.
once you understand the value from the beginning, and you understand how value moves people,
Hmm.
then it just becomes, all the pieces become more apparent as to where you need to move them. You understand? You can poke holes in the problem when the value is there. But the value is not there, there's really nothing to analyze.
Right, right, right. Especially like I just said, it's 55,000 agents, you know, as with our career, you know, or just 2 million in the country. So how do we as agents provide that value? And if, like you said, if you do have the value to provide, and you're not getting it across, maybe it's a lack, or you gotta, grow, become better with your communication skills or your listening skills, like you said. So
Mhm.
talking about that, how can we relate to today's market, today's world, what we're going through? Where do you think, given that value right now, where do you see, or how are you providing value to your clients and your team?
Value has never been more important than right now. It's
Right.
crazy. The I honestly think that I hope not. I hope everyone gets to stay in the business and enjoy it, and take part in what's going on and still
Hmm.
be selling. But I feel a lot of people are gonna get left behind. A lot of realtors, if they do not learn how to provide value, because everyone's at home, no one's door knocking. Prior to this pandemic, I was knocking 120 doors a week. I was doing all sorts of stuff, being out there, being active in the community. Now
Hmm.
there's nothing for me to do but call. I have nothing. So every realtor is competing with realtors like me, with top producers. We're all calling the same people.
Right.
So the difference between me and the 55,000 other realtors is that I can deliver that value over the phone. And it's more important than ever. And it comes down to listening and delivery of your communication.
Wow, definitely. So other than just providing value, you're calling people. Is that how I'm guessing that's
Mm,
how you're generating leads right now, or one of the ways you're generating leads.
right.
Um, you know, I mean, like, where do you see the market going, and how? I understand, the competition that we're in. There's, a lot of
Mhm.
agents. We're all calling the same people. Well, how do you think? Like, what would you teach, or what would you suggest? What's your advice on agents that are calling, that are maybe they're new at calling, because the whole business has changed. So now they're like, crap. There's nothing
Mhm.
else I can do other than call. I got to learn how to call. So again, maybe if they can provide the value, but again, if they're new on the phone, or they don't have too much experience, what can you say to those agents? Like, what is the best way to provide this value, right?
It's really probing, I think is the correct word. Um, you want to go past the having the sale in mind and make the focus, how deep in a conversation can I get with this client? How much details can this client provide to me? Or
Mm.
how much expertise can I provide to this client that they can share with me exactly what it is they're going through, and what is it that would actually solve their dilemmas. Like, for example, we have a lot of buyers right now. The market is still flooded with a lot of buyers, at least over here in my area. I do mostly West Miami to the Miami area. So there's still a lot of buyers, and for the most part, buyers do not want to be seeing 10, 15, 20 properties like before. It's
Right.
narrowed down tremendously. So we're seeing a lot lower rate of tours for our agents. So how are we able to make sure that we can minimize that? You really have to get down to the details. It's no more, pick up the phone, 3 bedroom, 2 bath in Kendall, 1 story, let's go. It's let's get really down into what are your needs, what are your wants, and what are the things that manifest your happiness in a home. What are the things that really stir you away from a home? You're getting personal. I heard someone today talk to me about the kitchen, and it's got to be it sounds like something super basic until they were telling me the kitchen of their dreams is one that overlooks into the pool so that they can see their family hanging out in the backyard. Like, that's what manifests happiness in them. And like that, to me, it sent me chills, because I knew how serious that image was to her. She could
Right.
see that image in her
That
head.
kitchen with that view, like, that was
Yeah.
the pinpoint.
If I didn't get that detail, I could have sent her 30 homes. But because of that one detail, it was only one home, and that's gonna be the home.
You're so right, man. So pretty much to put it in perspective, a summary, it's like, just listen, just listen. People need to be listened to, especially now more than ever. There's no time to waste, right? Especially like we're
Mhm.
still going through a pandemic, right? So again, listen to your client's needs, whether it's a buyer or a seller, and go based out of that, and ask a lot of questions, right? Listen and ask a lot of questions. That's something that we're taught all the time. It's a lot easier said than done, but definitely listening and asking a lot of questions and digging deeper and deeper. Like in Keller Williams, they teach us a lot to ask, 3 times. Like, okay, so why do you want that kitchen? Okay, and why do you want that view in the kitchen? And why do you want to? Until they get to the main deep point, which is like, I just want to be happy and see my family happy, from that kitchen window while I'm cooking. So it's like you just dig so deep into it, like you just said. So maybe from losing that one client and send them random questions because you didn't ask questions, you were able to ask so much questions and dig deep into the reason why. So from a list of 100, you probably only send them 10 homes, which they all match the criteria, and they're gonna be like, wow, this guy or this person really listened. And that just, I guess that would definitely differentiate, the 55,000 agents to each individual. Right, man.
One thing I want to point out, because a lot of times I see that realtors, their only fear is losing the client. Like, to them, that's the only downfall that can happen.
Right.
And I like to bring to light that there's an even stronger fear that you should have, and it's getting paid the same amount for more of your time. Whether we like it or not, we're going to get paid the same amount for the same transaction.
Love it.
So just because you think it doesn't matter, my client's never going to leave me, it has to be more like, how much time are you going to use on this client until you make the same amount of money?
Right.
Whether it's 5 hours, 15 hours, 50 hours.
Love it.
That is what's going to help you grow. So for me, my fear is not whether I'm going to lose this client. That fear doesn't exist. If you're an expert, if you know that you're going to probe and answer all the questions and build trust over the phone, there's never a fear of losing a client. Like, that doesn't run through my head. My fear is, what if I spend 15 hours on this client? Now that that's a fear, how can I make sure that we're not going to get to that?
Wow. That gave me goosebumps, man. I appreciate you telling me that. I haven't really thought about that. That's awesome. Instead of thinking, like I was, or having the fear of losing the client, or what if they don't want to work with me, or what if this and that, the main purpose should be like, hey, what can I do so I can spend the least amount of time possible, but also getting their needs and their wants and their goals, right? So like getting to the objective with the least amount of time possible. I guess that should definitely be the mindset for each client. I love that. Wow, man. I haven't heard of that.
More value and less time. More value, less time.
More value.
That means you're better. To me,
man.
To me, that means like, hey, if you can give, the same amount of value in 2 hours that someone else took 20 hours for, I think you're a better realtor. You gave them what they want. At the end of the day, it's the same end goal. If someone took you there faster, it just means that they were more knowledgeable to guide you along the path way smoother than anyone else.
Right. Let me ask you, talking about hours and time to spend on your clients, do you write down how much time, like hours? How do you know how much hours you spend on each client? Is that something that you keep down, you track?
When I first started off, I was primarily a buyer's agent.
Right.
So I wouldn't count in terms of hours. I would count in terms of homes. And to me, it was like, there is no way I am showing more than 15 homes. Like, that is an outrageous number. Preferably, I want to stick to the 5 to 10 range. We tell all of our agents now that if you hear all of your clients' criteria and you can come up with a list of over 7 properties, you need to revisit your client and get more specific. Because if there's 10, 15, 20 properties available that fit specifically what your client wants, your client is not that picky.
Too much
There's
info.
A lot of inventory out there. Yeah. Too vague. You need to get way more down. 1 story, 2 story. What is your favorite feature of the home? Really narrow things down.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Gabriel. So if that was the case, and and the realtor had a list of 20, 30 properties, like homes in Kendall, like you said, up to 400,000, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. I don't care. There's gonna be hundreds, right? So So for this person that's not, asking the right questions, or maybe they need to call the client back or sit down with them again and try to narrow down more, how would you go about that?
On narrowing down more, I mean, it really comes down to, price is going to be a big decider. What their price range is, and it could be that they are very broad. That what they're looking for. There are a lot of options, but that
Right,
doesn't mean that there are a lot of right options.
right.
Because just because there are 20 homes, 15 homes available that are 3, 2, 1-story remodeled,
Hmm.
it is your job as the client's representative to find out of the 20 homes that are available in that price range, which ones are the best homes, which ones are the homes that after the client looks at these three, it doesn't even make sense to visit the rest of them.
Okay.
Because I'm going to tell them, hey, why would we go see that one when the square footage is smaller than the first three I showed you? Why would we go see that one when the roof is older? Why would we go see that one when, one bathroom still needs to be done? It doesn't make sense financially, Mrs. Buyer, for us to even explore that option. These are the best three options for you. And I can explain to you why.
Right, love it. So after you've done your consultation, let's say we're talking about a buyers right now. So you've done your buyers
Mm-hmm.
consultation, and you dig really deep, and you got their whys, their main goals, why they want that kitchen with that view. So you have all that, but you still have a lot of options because sometimes it does happen, right? Because or sometimes they don't give you too much information. So what you're telling me is pretty much use common sense, right? That's just common sense coming here. It's like, hey, look, these homes are a lot better than these homes. So you kind of be the professional there, right? That's what they're hiring you
Mm-hmm.
for, and you send them the
Yeah,
best options with as much criteria and knowledge as you have from them.
definitely. Yeah, don't send them a list for them to filter because they don't need an agent for that. They can go on Zillow and filter themselves. Don't send them properties that are 200 days on the market when they tell you they've been looking and they couldn't find anything they've been looking for. Like that's just flat out telling the client, I'm not listening to you.
Gabriel, let me ask you a question. I know I read a little bit about you, and I know it was regarding real estate investing, right? I know you
Hmm.
help a lot of people invest in real estate, and specifically like multifamilies. And I read something about you help a lot of families start getting into real estate investing. Can you go a little bit into that, into if right now, from your knowledge, if it's still a good time to start investing in real estate, if someone that wants to get started?
Um, to be honest, if you look at real estate over a 20-year span in any period of time, it's always been a progressive appreciation. So
Right,
when someone asks me, is this a good time to be investing?
right,
To me, investing is for wealth. It's always a good time to be investing. I
right.
saw firsthand experience. My father purchased a property during the boom in the early 2000s,
Hmm.
and while everyone in our neighborhood was short selling and foreclosing like it was the trend, we held on to it, and now 15 years later, the property's doubled in value. And that's what it's all about. I mean, there's going to be a time because real estate is cyclical that you may get a depression in your value. But if it's not a realized gain, it really shouldn't, affect you at all. No one is looking at their 401k every single day and being like, "Oh no, everything's going down. It was a bad idea for me to invest in my 401k."
Right.
No, if you're 30, 40 years old, let it be because
It's
the
the long
point
run.
is exactly. So it's always a great time to be investing.
Love it, man. Love that answer. Always a great time. I believe the same thing. I usually tell people like, hey, if it's for real estate investing, there's different ways or different reasons why people invest, right? It really depends
Hmm.
what their criteria is or why they want to invest. If it's for flipping, then maybe they gotta watch out a little bit more and know the market a little bit more.
Definitely.
But definitely if it's buy and hold, to rent it out or just to just have the money sit there and get some value out of it better than sitting at the bank. By all means, is always a good time. There's real estate always appreciates. So no matter what happens to the market in the long run, you're always gonna end up, come up winning like you just mentioned that your father, did. So by all means, by all means. So let me ask you a question. What is the highest activity, or what is the highest return on investment an agent could be doing right now? Gabriel, you there?
Hey Hans, you hear me?
I hear you now. Yes, it got cut off for
Sorry
a second.
about that.
It was
All
probably
right.
the internet connection. So the question was, what is the highest activity or the highest return on investment an agent could be doing right now in today's market?
Pick up the phone. Call. Either expired, buyer leads, sellers, your sphere. Let everybody you know and everyone that they know that you are a realtor and you're out here looking to provide value and help people either find the home of their dreams or help them grow a long-term sustainable wealth for their family and for generations to come. Pick up the phone.
Get on the phone, guys. Get on the phone. Get on the phone. Absolutely. And how about for the agents that have the fear of getting on the phone? How about the ones that they're just scared to pick that phone up? What do you say to those agents?
I mean, it's tough. It's really hard for me to talk to people like that. I have to figure out how bad do they want this and what it is they're in this business for. Because if it's just for the check and the calling is too much for you, then this might not be the business for you. I'm very direct with that. To me, this is a people's business, and when you're working in a people's business, you have to be able to build trust. And unfortunately, during this era, some people are great at building trust in person,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not an option anymore. So
Right.
now more than ever, you have to learn the skill to build trust over the phone. And the longer you delay it, the longer it will take for you to develop the skill. It's practice like anything else. I go out and run a few miles. I like running marathons. It's not like I'm gonna go outside and run a marathon out of nowhere. It took time. I had to go through a lot of pain and endurance and recovery and refueling every day, weeks over weeks, until I manifested what it takes to run 26.2 miles. No one's going to
Wow.
pick up the phone
Right.
and call a bunch of expires and nail it. Like, no one. I don't care who you are.
Right. Little by little. So there you go. So if you're scared of picking up the phone, if you're not yet getting on the phone, little by little, little by little, you'll start getting the skills down, and it'll just become just
Well,
normal. It'll
one
just
thing I want to focus on that I didn't mention though is
yes.
to really fall in love with the process. That's said pretty often, but it's overlooked with the phone calls.
Right.
And it's something that I always have to remind my team. I'll have
Mm-hmm.
agents that'll sit down and they'll call 50 buyers and they'll be very let down and discouraged that no buyer wanted to work with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell, my team all the time, look, personally, I'm top 20 under 40. I think I'm very skilled on the phone, and my conversion rate at best is 5%. So I'm going to call 50 people and maybe I'll get 2-3 people. So you as a new agent to think you're going to call 50 people and even get one of them is just really setting yourself up for failure.
Right.
It's
Right.
just like the whole marathon thing. I wouldn't run 2-3 miles and think that tomorrow I can run 26. You're really setting yourself up for failure. You have to be realistic and just focus on what do I need to do to start the call the perfect way. That's how I started. I didn't care about scheduling the buyer or the listing appointment or scheduling a showing. I had so much anxiety in the beginning of those calls that I
Right.
would say, how can I just say hello right? Because I couldn't get it right.
And how's
They would
that?
pick up
What did you do to I'm guessing this is
well
when
in
you
the
first
beginning.
started. I'm guessing this was years ago, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But still, I remember because even when it started with the developers and people that I would talk to at FIU,
Right.
then it became a little bit more real when I was talking to buyers.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got over that, I started talking to sellers. And when I spoke to sellers for the first time a year ago, it was like those chills and those nerves all over again. I was like, man, I thought this was old, but it came back because it's in a different field now.
All
With a
right.
buyer, I used to
Mm-hmm.
be, pick up the phone and be like, "Hey, Mr. Buyer," bomb, hang up. Like I wouldn't know what to say. If you could just give me 5 minutes of your time, I promise I'm the best realtor. Now I call with confidence. I used to say, "Hey, is this Mr. Buyer?" Why would you ask who it is? That just gives it complete, lack of confidence of who you're calling. Now, whether it's that person or not, most of the time it is. But even if it isn't, I don't lose anything. I say, "Hey, Mr. Buyer, how are you doing today?" You call with confidence, and people are like, that energy, it's received. And they're like, okay, this person obviously knows me because they know my name and they ask me how I'm doing today. And it's you're way more likely to get a response that's going to help you progress in the conversation when you bring that energy.
Love
I
it.
hear a lot of my agents sometimes, "Hey, how are you doing today? This is so and so," and I'm like, man, you gotta, if you have an alter ego or whatever it is that you gotta do, you gotta get in there. I have, like, you're drinking your mate. I like drinking like Rockstar, like energy drinks, like since I was younger. And so I know they're not that good for you, but like I try to like mitigate it. I'll do little servings, but I'll take a shot and I'll be like, you know what? It's game time. Like I'm gonna bring the energy. And before that person even picks up the phone, I've already screamed their name 3 times in my head. I'm waiting for it, in my head. "Hey, Mr. Buyer. Hey, Mr. Buyer. Hey, Mr. Buyer. How are you doing today?" You get me?
Love it. Love it, man. Wow, that's amazing. I really appreciate that those tips and that knowledge. So pretty much get your mindset ready before you start making those calls. Come with a positive mindset. Understand, if you're new at it, that you're not gonna be killing it yet. It's enjoy the process, just baby steps, but do it. And pretty much it's so it's very like a mindset thing, right? That you're telling me about, man. I
100%.
love that. That's um
100%. It's huge.
so anyway, man, I really appreciate this. I really appreciate all those tips and advice. A lot of really good knowledge. We talked a lot about, buyers and being a buyer's agent. I guess it just went that way, which is like a lot of
Yeah, yeah.
really good information. So pretty much get get on the phone, mindset, and take baby steps, get educated. I know you're a big education. I know you tell me a little bit about before we go a little bit about reading and why you love to read more like books, right? More than like YouTube or audio or other types of education.
I mean, I love all sorts of education, like you just said. And any way I can get data and learn, I'm a big fan of it. My really, how do you say it? Like my big fascination with reading is
Mhm.
that, I don't believe in multitasking. I think that you can only focus on one thing at a time and you hone in on it, and that's how you get better at that one task. But with reading,
Right.
I truly feel like I'm working on multiple things at once unconsciously. I'm picking up information.
Hmm.
I'm training my focus because you really have to focus to read. Anyone can put a YouTube channel and zone in and out in their head, have
Right.
thoughts come in and out. But
Yeah.
when I'm reading, I'm thinking nothing but about this book. And focus is like a muscle. So to me, if I can train that muscle while learning, and on top of that, I can disconnect from the media, from work, from phone, and do 3 of those things that are extremely beneficial all at once. It just, for me, it beats any other form of education. Like it's a triple whammy. That's what I love about reading.
Love it, man. I got to start reading, man. I'm always on the phone, online or podcast or
Mhm.
YouTube or wherever but it's always like either visually or like on the phone or something
Mhm.
or listening. So I definitely wanna you just made me want to go pick up a book, and I love that.
Even if it's 10 minutes, man, 10 minutes will get you through. Some people will read, just multiple books as soon as they finish. When you do 10 minutes, you'll be reading one book every month. And that's 12
Wow,
books a year. That's a lot of information,
with 10
Take a
minutes of
book up.
reading,
Yeah, a day. That's about 4 to 5 hours a month of reading. And that's a
beautiful.
book right there. So that's
So
12 books, or you can go ahead.
I was gonna say, what book are you on right now?
Right now, I'm rereading Relentless just because with everything going on. I just like to be reminded of what type of attitude is important, and with my agents and my team, sometimes I gotta look at it from a third person view to better assess how to communicate with them. So if I want to instill that in them, that it's something that I feel. It's a drive. I'm sure there's things for you that they're unconscious. You just get up, you go, and you do it. But rereading certain books that taught me a lot of great lessons helps me teach the topic better. So right now I'm rereading Relentless by Tim Grover. He was the trainer of Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, and rest in
Beautiful.
peace. A great guy. But yeah, it's a great
Relentless.
book that really gets down to you know being at peace with yourself and using that peace to drive you to insane results.
Love it,
Keep
man.
pushing.
I'm gonna check that out. Relentless. I appreciate that tip, that advice. And to finish this off with some fun questions to make this
Let's go.
a little fun. So Gabriel, tell us, if you could compare yourself with any animal, what would that animal be?
Oh man, an animal. I try to yeah, to me, I really like I have right behind me. I don't know if you guys can see it. I have a shark in the office because when first got into sales, I always saw like the older movies on sales, Glenn Gary, Glenn Ross. I grew up. I went into like sales team in FIU, so they've always used shark. I don't like to use it publicly because it doesn't have the best reputation. So if I have to say it out loud for like clients and everyone to hear, it would be like a bull. Because to me, I want to go straight to it. Bullseye, or you just go charging towards my goal. That's how I see it. So I like bull if we're on land.
Love it. There you go. All right, that's something I know about you now. Gabriel, what's the best and worst purchase you've ever done in your life in general? It could be anything.
Oh man, um, that is tough because man, with me with purchases, like I'm so frugal. I have in my refrigerator before I even purchase something, I'm asking myself, do I need it? And if I'm telling myself yes, why do I need it? So that's
Interesting.
tough for me.
So,
I'm
but
very
so,
like,
so maybe you don't have a worst purchase, but you might have an amazing best purchase.
yeah, amazing best purchases. I mean, um, I'm constantly looking for a deal. So every week I can give you an awesome purchase. Like I just purchased these lights. I'm on offer up every single day. So what's awesome? I bought this thing for my footrest for my feet at the office. It's like a pillow under your desk. I got to give credit to my partner because I saw him with it one day. I thought it looked ridiculous. I was super upset that he had like his shoes off and his socks out in the office. And then when I bought one, it's like a life changer. I bought one for my dad. I got one for my mom because it corrects your posture, helps your lungs breathe a lot better, and so you deliver more oxygen to your brain. And like that, it allows me to work longer. Like I seriously feel like I have maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes more of mental capacity in my day because my posture is always 100% correct.
Interesting. So, what is
So
it called?
a footrest. That's it.
Just a footrest.
Like an office footrest. You look for one for
Beautiful.
your desk.
I'm gonna check
And
that
that,
out.
yeah, I think there's different ones. I bought a really nice one for my dad that was like $50. But like for me, when I bought mine first to experiment, I went on OfferUp. I bought like a used one that a lady said she used like twice for $7. I was like, let me try this thing out. I put like chloro on top of everything, and I'm like, all right, let me try this. Boom! It was like, this is awesome. Let me go
That's
buy a
it.
legit one that wasn't secondhand. Like
Love it. I'm gonna try
so.
that out, man. I'm gonna buy one. I'm gonna buy one. I appreciate that, man. You're just dropping bombs today, Gabriel.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, man. So, last question: if you could choose superpowers, what would you choose? Would you rather speak all languages or be able to, or be able to speak to all animals?
For me, I mean, it's all languages any day of the week. I mean, communication is what it's something that I'm always working on, and it's a skill that to me it never ends. So if you can speak in different languages, um, it really helps you disassemble some barriers sometimes that come with differentiations in language. for example, we have a few virtual assistants, and it's crazy how I can say the same, request to one of my assistants in the Philippines, another assistant in Bangladesh, and they'll both interpret it completely different. And this comes with everything. Like even compliments sometimes they'll take it completely different. And just because when you translate it into their language, it comes out different. If they type that in and to Google Translate, it just comes out completely different. So yeah,
That's
it
nuts.
causes
I love
a
that.
lot of scenarios.
It's happened to
So
me. All languages, man. Awesome, man. Are you working any? I mean, I know you speak English, Spanish. Are you working on learning any other languages?
to be honest, I'm still trying to perfect Spanish because
Hmm.
I grew up not really being so fond of learning a second language. It just didn't
Hmm.
feel like a necessity to me for when I was younger. I'd rather learn a skill or a new topic.
All right.
Now that I'm in sales, I realize that, if I can learn Spanish, I just increase my client base by 100 because of where we're at. My main market, 90% of my customers are Hispanic.
Wow.
So not only have I been trying to perfect, my language in Spanish, because I can talk colloquially, with other people, family, but it's
Right.
different when it's in business and using those key words when you're selling to someone. So I want to
Yeah.
tune in those words and then also be able to write. I would love to be able to do copywriting in Spanish. So I want to learn first how to speak and do everything fluently.
There you go,
Still
man.
working on it.
There you go. I'm sure you have a goal for that. And
Yeah.
oh, I was gonna say. So, what areas of Miami do you cover? So the audience
West
knows.
Miami.
So all the
Yeah.
West
West
Miami
Miami,
area.
anything west of 67 57 Avenue Southwest, all the way down to 157 Avenue. That's where my
Can you
team.
just name some neighborhoods for the people that may not be locally or may not
Definitely.
know?
Yeah, Westchester, Tamiami, Kendall Lakes, West Kendall, the Dayline area, South Miami. We do a lot of business there. Tamiami is probably our biggest area of domination, and
Perfect.
yeah, Sweetwater areas like that.
Great. Really appreciate it. So the audience knows, if they need a realtor down there, Gabriel is the man to go to with Strike Realty. Gabriel, thank you so
Definitely.
much for being here with us today. Thank you so much for dropping all those awesome bombs. Great knowledge, great tips for agents. Thank you so much once again, and we'll stay in touch, man. Take care.
No, thank you for having me, man. Anytime, I really appreciated this. So look forward to seeing you again.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone that joined in. I hope you got a lot
Definitely.
of value from him. Until next time.
See you guys.
Bye bye.